when you guys started out, you were still in high school, as far as I remember, and the band was called Katzenjammer. Where did that come from?
That was just a name that I'd come across in a book. I don't recall the book, and I don't recall why the word was there, but it just looked like an interesting word. And so I looked it up, and the meaning, which I believe is in German translates as like almost like a hangover or a headache from loud noise or heavy drinking.
Who came up with that generator parties? Was that something that had to happen because it was so boring there?
Yeah, I think generator parties was a necessity for people in the desert. I have some friends, a particular friend by the name of Tom Montoya, who's from Coachella, which is the I guess you could call that the southeastern part of the Coachella Valley Desert, and he's a couple generations older than us, but he was out in the middle of the desert with a generator playing psychedelic rock in the late '60s too. So it certainly wasn't anything that was invented when we were doing it. I think it'd been around for some time. We were just, by the time we were of age, it was our time to participate.
It's funny because there wasn't any real like clubs to play at and stuff. There was a couple like Adrian's nightclub. I saw Brant's band today when he was just a kid playing there, and with some other bands. And there was a couple of little places you could go and play, but you know, after a while those would get broken up. Something would happen, and that wouldn't happen anymore. And you do your house parties. Cops find it easier and break up the party. So I think people got smart and you know, took generators out in the middle of the desert to do the parties where the cops wouldn't find it, you know, and so the fun could continue. You know?
The excuse me, the generator scene, if you will, by the time, in some ways, it kind of died around the same time KYUSS broke up. I don't know if that had anything to do with that. I think it was just kind of, you know, the circumstances or whatever, but they just started to get more and more popular in the desert, and the desert's a growing environment, it's a growing area, so there's more and more people moving there every year, and there's just certain elements that started to become part of the generator party that became super violent and negative, and you know, sometimes gang members would hear about these parties and show up, and it really turned into something that was uncontrollable and pretty dangerous. And so naturally it just, like most things, just kind of faded away, but and hasn't really returned, really.
The last generator party I did with the band was 1991 at the Nude Ball.
Yeah. With
the Dwarves. It was a Halloween night. It was with Unsound, KYUSS, and the Dwarves from San Francisco, and it was great fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Great fun.
How is Madison? She must be around 7 now.
Thank you for asking. That's great. Yeah, she's 8, and she's doing fantastic. She's the apple of my eye. I love that little girl to death. So thank you for asking. It's very nice of you.
Well, when she was younger, there was no time for you to go like on a longer tour. Did that change now?
It's with the blessing of my family that I'm able to, you know, come out here and be with Bruno and Brant and Nick, and but it doesn't make it any easier, you know, and it's something that I've got to live with, you know, for the time that I'm gone, and I won't get into some of the other personal things that I've been through, but you know, Daddy doesn't get to walk her to school. You know, Daddy doesn't get to pick her up from school the majority of the time. Daddy doesn't get to have dinner with her. you know, and I don't wish that upon anybody, you know, and but I've come to terms with it. I'm still dealing with it, and deal with it the best way you can. And she knows her daddy loves her. She knows for sure.
You guys are already working on new songs?
I think we've decided that we want to pursue that. We haven't really worked on any new music. We haven't had time, and of course, you know, we don't want to like rob ourselves of the opportunity to totally enjoy coming back and playing live and playing all the old stuff. And so we want to be here and dig this, but we have decided that we're going to pursue you know, new music.
So decision is made. There will be a new record.
Yeah.
Have you already thought on who will produce?
I think it's a little early to decide or even, you know, discuss details like that, you know, because things are still in the, like I said, we're even though we've decided to move forward with the creative process, we're still just enjoying playing live right now. So I think it's a little early to come out and say like what it could actually or what it will actually be. Because, you know, to be quite frank, we don't really know yet either. So, but we'll just leave it at like, I think some new music's gonna be coming.
Yeah, we have people in mind, but nothing set yet.
KYUSS is a possibility, put it that way.
Never know, man. Like I said, we don't want to say, you know, it's like, we don't want to say, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much away.
I think, you know, KYUSS was a very important figure for us when we were, you know, young and developing, and he was a bitch and ally, and he helped us capture a lot of our essence in the studio, and he's obviously a fantastic musician and a respectable producer. But, you know, John and Bruno and of course Nick and myself have recorded quite a few records since 1992, and you know, who's to say we aren't able to go in with a pretty badass engineer and produce ourselves?
Sure, why not?
You never know. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what path we decide to take.
KYUSS never was like a huge record seller, put it that way. But on the other hand, I mean, you guys created your own rock and roll genre. Tons of rock musicians followed. How does that feel?
I think it's cool that people have made this this genre, or you know, because I think heavy music's important, and it's my favorite, you know. I know when I was in the band back when it was we were just rocking, you know, we were just playing rock, and I kind of always wondered where that tag came from, and I think Brant gave me a poster of we were trading some stuff way later on down in our lives, and he gave me a Blue Red Sun poster, and I looked at it and it said, "A fresh, sticky, hairy bong load of musical salvation." And I went, "Oh, that's where it comes from. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it."
That might have had something to do
But
with
when we were doing it, there was no like stoner rock. There was no like, we're playing stoner rock, and you know, because I don't think there was a genre that we really fit into at the time. There was Seattle thing was popping off. It was grunge was the big thing, and we weren't part of that. We weren't part of LA, the scene that was going on in LA, which you had your hair bands are dying off, and you had like Chili Peppers and Jane's Addiction style stuff, and Tool was coming out and stuff like that. But we didn't really fit in with any of that, and especially at the time, and so you know, it's kind of trippy that now that there's a home that's been I guess given to the band and the style of music, you know, and given a torch or something. I don't know. It's a trip. It's cool. You know, it feels trippy. It's weird.
I mean,
it's weird.
We're all music. Excuse me.
Stoner rock, dude. We're going in. I love it.
We're all music fans, of course. So like, you know, we're too busy celebrating the influences that we love. You know, whether it's, you know, Hendrix or the Ramones or the Cult or Motorhead or whatever. I mean, these are our heroes that inspired us to rock. So there's not a whole lot of time that we think about the kids and generations that we've influenced, because we're still fans and still looking. I mean, Nick and I we'll like geek out on Black Flag for 2 hours, man. You know, it's like so we're still fans too, man.
Power Age record.
Yeah, AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, so we geek out on the things that we love. So we never stop to think too much about the generations below us, you know. And I think that's just a natural thing, you know. And they'll influence a whole nother generation, you know, and they'll just keep going.
Hooray for you.
If it's your last concert ever to play, what would be the last song you would love to perform? But doesn't need to be a KYUSS song, but can be.
Like it's all over after this song.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would it be?
And it could be somebody else's song, or it should be
Yeah.
a song. Okay.
It could be My Hey Hey.
That's a good question, man. I'm fucking.
That's a good song. Yeah, that's a good song. So you see, you already know the answer. What the hell?
Yeah, what is it? What is it? What is it? I give up. What is the answer? I give.
But that would be my pick, I guess.
It's a good choice.
That's a good one, yeah.
Quick
yeah.
one, yeah.
It's a great choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's a question that's hard for a musician, because the musician, there's never the last song, man. That's like telling a surfer, like, what's the ultimate wave if it's your last wave? It's like the surfer's like, bro, the waves, there's always waves, man. I want to surf forever, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's fantasy or not is irrelevant, you know? And for me, you know, there's no last song, man. I'll always play.
You're now back on tour, but people are watching like old videos from the 90s. How is it for you watching those old video clips? Is it like, that was then, we would have done it differently now, or fuck man, what a great piece of work?
I'm still on that last question. Man. Still stuck on that last song, man. It's really doing my head in,
He's
man.
not gonna be able to sleep
I
tonight.
know. I'll be like, what is the last song? I'm like, nah, shit, man. It's really fucking with me.
wake you up in the middle of the night.
Come on. What is it? I got it. I have to get your number, dude. It's this song.
I mean, have you watched like old stuff when you rehearsed for the tour? Have you watched old videos or I don't know, old shows?
I like to look on YouTube for old live stuff, just to know what there were different versions. I think it's interesting.
I've done some homework. I like to call it.
Sure.
I care.
What do you say?
You know, every time I see a piece that somebody goes, "Hey, do you remember this?" I kind of immediately have to kind of like, oh god damn, like turn it off. You know, it's you know, it's a little embarrassing. You know, I still get embarrassed.
Is it still?
Yeah.
Hey, we are KYUSS. You're watching MULATSCHAG, the only TV show you really need. MULATSCHAG!